thought Mulholland Drive was crazy before. Now it truly begins to go to the zoo. Just like the last 30 minutes of Mulholland Drive is very similar to the last 30 minutes of Persona, where the movie begins to disintegrate, and there's no stability at all for you, the viewer. You don't know what's going on. Um, one way to think about what goes wrong is that Betty at this point really has gotten everything she wants. She's moved to Hollywood to become a great star. She's had a huge amount of success at that audition. A top Hollywood director, Adam Kesher, is obviously captivated by her. She also has met an incredibly beautiful woman who has amnesia and a bag full of money, and is now, they're in love with each other and they had sex, and it's like it seems like everything is working out for her. Everything has gone right for Betty. Um, Still don't know what's going on with a lot of those other characters, but we know a little bit of what's going on, at least, right? That the mob was going to stop Adam Kesher messing with his movie, and I don't know. It's at this point that the movie goes completely insane, and it's Spanish. It's the Spanish language that starts it off. Silencio, silencio, silencio. Laura Herring wakes up in the middle of the night and wants to go to Club Silencio. Um, and Club Silencio is really the centerpiece of the movie, and it's also the centerpiece of what David Lynch is doing. It's the one of the greatest scenes ever put in a movie. They go out into the city, and it looks different. It's a dirty, realistic-looking LA instead of a kind of magical. It's not the super beautiful LA that Laura Herring came down Mulholland Drive looking at. It's a very dirty, ugly strip mall kind of LA. We've seen glimpses of this in the movie, but it's a dirtier LA than certainly Naomi Watts has been running around in for most of the time. Um, we get there, and the camera also seems to have trouble focusing. It is like the lens is having problems again because we're about to hit something so intense it's going to disintegrate the film. Um, they go to Club Silencio, and Club Silencio is, on the surface of it, the dumbest fucking thing in the world. It's incredibly stupid, sort of. They go to Club Silencio in the middle of the night, and there's creepy horror images where the camera swoops low along the ground like a monster, like an animal chasing our characters or something. It's very strange. They get to Club Silencio, and there's a guy who says there no hay banda. You hear a band, but there is no band. It's all a recording, he says. Okay. Um, and then he demonstrates by he goes like this and there's lightning, and he goes like this and there's lightning, and it's obviously a stage effect. It's planned out, like he's pantomiming, right? It's not real. He just goes like this and there's lightning, but his point is it's not real. You hear a band, right? You hear music, but it's pre-recorded. And then this guy comes out with the trumpet and he plays the trumpet, and then he takes the trumpet away, but the trumpet keeps going. Just to empty, just that was what he said was going to happen, right? Not a surprise. He said there, you know, um, we hear a band, but there is no band. It's all a recording. And then the guy comes out with the trumpet, and I think he's playing the trumpet, and he takes the trumpet away, but the trumpet music still continues because he was never really playing it. It was just a recording. So, pretty dopey. Although the women are pretty interested in this. This seems very important. Um, and actually, the guy on stage is able to control Betty. He does the lightning effect, and she begins to shake and tremble. So it seems on the surface like this performance is pretty stupid, but it's worth pointing out that it seems to matter a great deal to Naomi Watts, who can be sort of shaken by it. She's literally shaken by it, but also metaphorically, it's messing with her head a little bit. We're going to talk about why that is. So he gives these examples, and it's pretty straightforward. Um, Although, by the way, Cookie, who was the guy from the hotel that Adam was staying at, is also apparently works at Club Silencio, which is interesting. Um, and then Rebecca Del Rio comes out. And Rebecca Del Rio comes out, and she sings this incredibly beautiful song. The song is Crying by Roy Orbison, but it has been translated into Spanish. And Rebecca Del Rio is an incredibly beautiful woman. She comes out and sings this incredibly beautiful a cappella song. It lasts for a long time. It's quite loud. And just as in the scene where Naomi Watts goes into audition, the camera does not show audience reactions. Well, I guess you see them crying a little bit, but it really sticks with her face, like a close up of her face, like in Persona. And the women are moved by this and they're crying. It's worth pointing out that just like the scene that Naomi Watts performed, the song in the audition, this song similarly, is about tragic lost love. People love each other and they lose each other, and it's tragic and sad, and you're crying. Um, this is going to reflect, just like the Salome movie that Norma Desmond was working on, turns out to predict the entire plot of Sunset Boulevard. The tragic love stories in the audition and in the song Crying are also the tragic love story of Mulholland Drive. Although the way the movie is ordered, you wouldn't necessarily notice right away. Um, she sings this song and it's incredibly beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it goes on for like kind of a long time. It's a pretty long song. It's not just part of a song, it's a lot. Um, and then right in the middle of it, she collapses and the song keeps going. This has a tremendous effect because suddenly in the purse that the girls have, they discover a blue box with a little triangle hole in it that the key will open. So this is it. This is the key to the movie. It doesn't make any sense when you first see it. It's extremely confusing. And then they go home and they open the box, and then the whole movie disintegrates. But I think it's worth stopping for a hot second to talk about why Club Silencio is so crazy and what it means. What's happening at Club Silencio is they tell you it's all recorded, then they demonstrate to you that it's just a recording by the trumpet guy, and it's stupid. I know that. I'm not fucking dumb. But then Rebecca Del Rio comes out, and she's so beautiful, and the song is so beautiful that it makes me forget what the dude said about it all being a recording. Because even though he told me it was going to be a recording and it wasn't real, I was like, yeah, the trumpet, I get it. Okay, it's a recording, it's not real, fine. But then somehow, even though he just told me 3 minutes earlier, I still find myself shocked when she falls and the song keeps going. I really believed she was singing, even though they came out and fucking told me that it was a recording. I still slipped into believing that it's real, even though they told me ahead of time that it's real. And then this is what gives Naomi Watts and Laura Herring the blue box that will open up the next phase of the movie and finish it in tragic fashion. So why is the lesson at Club Silencio so incredibly important about it all being a recording? Because what happens at Club Silencio may seem stupid, but it's how movies work. All movies, everywhere. Every movie you've ever seen isn't real. It's not happening. It's a recording. It's a recording. It's a fake recording, probably, but even documentaries are not happening live. They were recorded a long time ago, and then you watch them. All movies are just recordings. And just like the thing with the trumpet, you know this. You know movies are not real. You know they're just recordings. That Naomi Watts isn't actually in your house. That Betty is not a real person. You know she's not in your phone where you're watching the movie. You know it's not real. And yet, movies are so entrancing and so beautiful that you want them to be real. And so even though you know movies aren't real, you treat them like they're real and filled with real people. And when the characters, who are totally fake, die, you cry real tears. Even though you know it's fake. This is the point of Club Silencio, is that he told you it was just a recording. But when Rebecca Del Rio came out, when she collapses, you're surprised. Because part of every person who goes to see a performance like this knows that they're being tricked. When you go to a movie, you know you're being tricked. The movie's not real. It's fake. All done with computers. It's all a recording. None of these characters are real. Somebody just made it up. But you want to be tricked because you desperately want to believe that the fantasy world is real in some way. And you talk about it like, oh, you talk about Tony Stark like he's a real person. He's not a real person. And you know that on some level, but you also resist it. You know it, but you don't want to know it, and you pretend you don't know it. And that's what happened with Rebecca Del Rio. He told you the music was a recording, and when she collapsed, you were still shocked. It's teaching you something about the way that you watch movies. When you watch a movie, you desperately want to believe that it's real. You think the actors are up there pretending? They are. But you, the audience, you're also pretending. They're pretending that Naomi Watts is pretending she's Betty. You are also pretending she's Betty because you know it's just an actress named Naomi Watts. So you're pretending as much as the actors are. The audiences want to be tricked. The audiences are imagining just as hard as the actors. They know that it's fake, but they also want to be tricked into believing it's real. I'll see you in the next video.